How far are you willing to go? The drive, the sweat, the blood, the tears, your determination through the pain and all the suffering, people overlooking you, telling you that you're not good enough. You have to believe that you're great. And with you believing that you're great, anything you want to do, you can achieve. No one can stop you. Only you can stop yourself. Keep driving. Keep uplifting yourself. Keep going. Keep going. Nothing, and no one can stop you. That goal you want, you can achieve it. How you inspire people is going to be up to you. Keep going. Never give up. Never give up. Keep going. Never give up.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Ikon EEE, and we're here on 910 Sports TV once again. First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity because without Him, will be no us to be able to have these great people on these great interviews. So I'm gonna start from my I think it's my right on way down, introducing everybody. I got the great coach out of Virginia area. You know what I'm saying? Formerly of North Carolina. You know, he took the talent from North Carolina up to Virginia and took over that area. You know what I'm saying? I got the great coach Lamont T. Goins. How you doing, brother?
Hey, listen, man. I'm glad to be back in Virginia. Been on the road. I almost felt like Icon E, but you know what? I'm ready to rock and roll. We got excellent Coach Frost with us tonight. So let's get this thing. Let's get it jumping.
You know what? I meant to say that too when I started in the introduction. Because Lamont he been moving around and stuff. We been together about 3 weeks because we can't get Lamont to sit still. You know what I'm saying? He been all over the country when I'm trying to act like me out here. You know what I'm
Been crazy,
saying?
man.
Yeah. So next, we got Cowboys' favorite fan, Clemson favorite fan. You know what I mean? I told him he the agency for everybody that don't nobody want. You know what I'm saying? He just started an agency called I'm the agency for what everybody don't want. You know what I'm saying? I got my brother Jacob the Great in the building. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, we can start agency for the commanders, but don't nobody want them either. So,
oh,
but you,
okay, okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and introduce
uh,
the coach for us, brother Jacob, so we get
uh,
get this thing started.
man, let's welcome the great and the legendary Coach Don Frost, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it, and it's a very big honor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Coach Frost, let's get ready to it. Where did coaching start for you? So what made you want to get into coaching, and what was your vision when you first got into coaching?
When I was in high school, uh, I went, well, first off, let me start back. I was at Shriners Hospital for 16 years, and I was a patient there, and I was born pigeon toed, and I had to wear braces. So that kind of weakened my leg. I got one bone's a little twisted in there. So up till about ninth grade, I played football, but after that, the doctor wouldn't sign off. So I was really at a high school, Berea High School, and so I didn't get to play, but I wanted to be a part of it. And the coaches welcomed me with open arms, new situation. So it was Coach Good, Coach Batson, and Coach Mattis. And those three men actually got me interested in coaching. Now, my brother went to Carson Newman and became a coach, and he's 4 years older than I. So I went to Carson Newman,
Mm.
got a PE major, got a social studies minor, and became a coach. So
Okay.
basically, my high school coaches got me started.
Okay. Great. So, I've read up on you. Asked around and heard so many great things about you, and so
Thank you.
with you, you're welcome. So with you working with the kids and working with the parents, what type of mindset did you have to really get through to the kids and the parents?
Well, when I first started coaching back in 1980, I did my student teaching at Malden High School, and I was blessed for them to hire me as a football coach. And while I was doing my student teaching, and then they offered me a job after I graduated, and I stayed there until I moved to another high school, and then I went to several high schools, and I learned a lot from every coach I've ever coached under. And then my first head coaching job was at Riverside High School, and it was also an AD job, and I had never been an AD before, so I learned a lot. But the big thing was you deal with parents, you are brutally honest. That's the best way to handle it. I think they respect it, and you respect them too. And I love the fact that the parents love their kids and willing to fight for them. I think that's great. But when they make a decision, they make it for one kid. When we make a decision as a head coach, we make it for 56 kids.
Right. So, and me personally, myself, I believe that a head coach is a father figure, a mentor, a
Oh, yeah.
psychologist, a pastor, a best friend, and so that's like all combined into one. And
Right.
so, with you stepping on that football field, are you offensive minded or defensive minded as a coach?
Oh, 100% defense. 100% defense. I was, that's what I've always done. My brother's an offensive coach, and we coached together pretty much our entire career.
Wow.
And that's a blessing too. You know, I, I'll tell you something I heard on TV, but I'll use it too. In our family, I'm the second best coach.
Wow.
My brother is an unbelievable coach. He's still coaching at age 72 at Christ Church as quarterback coach.
Wow,
You
wow.
know,
So, Coach, that's amazing that you can have your brother and y'all coaching together for all the years, man. Because family is very important, and a lot of times when you don't really understand something or something is bothering you, your brother can give you that upbeat to really help you move on from the situation. So that's great. So, Coach Goins, what you got?
Oh man, listen. First of all, I'm honored to sit in the presence of greatness tonight. And again, Coach Frost, congratulations on your induction to the South Carolina Hall of Fame. So my
thank you.
question is this: a lot of coaches struggle with winning 2 games in a row. You've won 55 games in a row. So how about telling our viewing audience what is? I mean, I can't fathom that. When I read that, I was just like 55 games in a row. So how did that feel? And as it was just like stacking on, stacking on, stacking on, and you got the double nickel. So tell us how. I mean, just how what was that about? Well, I just want to experience that right now.
We started off and lost our first game of the season in 2011. After the game, we huddled up on the field, and I had a coach, an old coach named Willis Burkett, and he stepped in and he pretty much read the riot act to the kids, and got on to them because we didn't play up to our standard. And then I came in and basically told them, said, "Look, we can meet Monday and we can come out here and we can be a good rec team and we can
Mm,
have fun. Or we want to be competitive and go for a state championship. And if we do, we got to work because that's the only way we're going to get better." So after that, we didn't lose again till second game of 2014.
wow.
And it was amazing. But I'm here to tell you it wasn't because of me. It was because of the coaching staff and the kids that I had. I went out and hired a bunch of ex head coaches and a bunch of coaches with a lot of experience. On our coaching staff, you added up all our experience, and we had 272 years of experience.
Wow. Well, you know what, guys? That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. Not just because of the X and O's. It's because it's because from the neck up, he's in the ball game and knows that he can't do it all by himself. So I know Jacob was talking about the success that you've had and coaching with your brother, and you mentioned how you got into coaching because of your high school coaches impact. So let me ask you this: how many former players have you had that's in the coaching realm now?
Right now, let's see. I got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, I believe. And
Wow.
again, it's been 44 years, so I
Right.
got a bunch.
Wow, that's a tremendous thing. And for those, well, I heard Coach Frost say this before we came on air tonight, and I just want to toss this back out. And I never looked at it like this. He basically said coaching and what we do, guys, on this show is a ministry, and I never looked at that, and that was definitely a profound word. So again, Coach, just hats off to everything that you put your hand to on the field, the former players that you coached, and all the impact it is tremendous thing. So again, congratulations on everything. And I'll kick it over to Icon E.
Well, Coach, I got to ask you this question. So I know, reading your bio, you had to eventually walk away from the game because you had some health issues. So how much since you've been away from the game was that itch to get back into it? I hope you're doing better now. But how is it you feeling about being away from the game?
Well, it came out of nowhere. We were at Tunica, Mississippi, at a coach's clinic, and we went to Memphis to fly out back home. In the airport, I had a cardiac arrest and basically died. I was not breathing, no pulse, no nothing. My brother and another coach was with me. They started CPR. Policeman came, took over, and then EMS came. They defibrillated me 3 times, and on the fourth time, they got me back. And so that's how that happened. And I was from February 19th until March 6th in the Memphis hospital. But they got me back. I came back, did rehab, got all that done, and everything. Right now, I'm back coaching again. I'm coaching at Travelers Rest High School right now. Coach Goodwin's the head coach, and he's doing an excellent job. He's trying to change the culture and get it going. Right now, we won more. We won 2 games. Last year, we only won one. So we've got one, and then we've got 5 left now. But so everything's falling into place. And I had that itch. But for 6 years, I had to sit out. My doctor would not release me, and he finally let me work as a consultant last year. This year, I'm actually coaching.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Good. That's So let me ask you, Coach. Who has been your? I know Coach Goins asked you what coaches you got that's coaching or ex players that's coaching. So who was your best players? Because for you to win 4 state championships, you can't have no slouch. So who's the most notable players that you had on this team?
There's through the years, there's been many. When I was at Riverside, I didn't personally coach him, but I was on the coaching staff, and that was Tremaine Stevens. Tremaine Stevens, who owns the gym now up in Gastonia, played for San Diego Chargers, running back. All right.
Hmm.
Camler Santanazaro, kicker from Christ Church, who went to Clemson and kicked and ended up kicking for the Arizona Cardinals and several other teams, Panthers, Jets, and had a good career in the NFL.
Wow.
Uh, just, but guys, I'm going to be honest with you. As far as standout players, it was a total team effort no matter what. I mean, we never relied on one player. And I know that sounds kind of funny, but we didn't. We relied on the team. We were down 28-7 at halftime, and we were not playing very well. We'd thrown 3 picks for touchdowns, and it's just bad. But We came back halftime. Kids came to me and said, "Coach, we won't lose this game." And I
Wow.
said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." So, long story short, we won 58-28.
Wow.
I mean,
Well,
that, and I mean, I had kids, you know, I've had kids walk on to scenes. I got one that I'm just as proud of as I can be. His name's Joshua Jackson. He's now teaching at Christ Church. He is a mentor. He is a coach. He is a teacher. He was my linebacker at 5'10", 131 pounds
Mm.
as a ninth grader, and he ended up leading us in tackles all 4 years. And that young man went to Clemson and walked on. They had 60 guys out there to walk on. They had 3 spots, and he was one of them. And he also is in the uh, credits of that movie Greater, because he won the award that got him in there as the walk on. And so he was mentioned in that movie too.
oh wow.
Yes, I remember that. Speaking of that movie, it's been on Netflix for a while now, and Greater is a great faith-based film. You know
Yes,
about football faith and trusting God will get you to the next level. So that is a great film, fellas. If you ain't ever seen it, it's definitely a great film.
and
So
I'll tell you this too. There is a book out there that started this whole thing. You asked about 55 games. There's a book out there that started this whole thing. It's got a blueprint, and if you read it and you take it and then you use it, great things will happen. It's called Season of Life by Jeffrey Marks.
Okay.
And guys, it's about Joe Ehrman and him being there and his brother having leukemia and him changing his life and learning to coach and build men for other men and just doing the right thing and getting the kids to do the right thing and make the right choices, and building men for others is the way it was described. But by doing that, that book changed everything. I was 1-9, 2-8, 1-9 my first 3 years at Riverside as head coach. We went 5-5 after we used that book as a blueprint. After that, we were 10-2, 9-4, and I believe it was 9-3. And then I went to Christ Church.
okay.
So
Well, I
it's
want to say, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, no, I was just gonna say, to me, high school coaches have a harder job than any other level coaches, college or NFL. And the reason why I say that is because in college you got, I don't know, 1,000 kids to pick from as far as recruiting. And if you get a well-oiled machine like a Clemson or Alabama or Georgia, you get the pick of the litter, especially before the NIL and all this stuff. You get whoever you want. In high school, you gotta always be recycling players, and you really got to rely more on your juniors and your seniors, and they graduate, and you got to hope the athletes that come from middle school, because especially when you're in an area where you only have like a certain amount of players because of the county restrictions and stuff and the city restrictions. So you have a smaller pool to pick from. So for you to win 55 games, whatever, I don't care where you at in the country, is super impressive. So I just want to tap in before I get back to Jacob on how do you keep your kids focused, and how do you kind of, I know you had the right coaches and all that, but how do you really mold that to be able to get on such a like a Ferris wheel or whatever you want to call it, like you know what I'm saying, a assembly line of being able to be that great for that long.
It it has a lot to do with the culture that you have to build. We broke practice down every day. I asked him. I said, "What?" And I got a phone call coming in, so hold on. It'll stop in a minute. Uh, it's it's one of those things where you got to get everybody going and get it in the frame of where we want to do it. But we broke down every day on what's your job,
Repeated back to us to love.
and that was their job. And I asked them, I said, what's our job as coaches? And they said, to love us like your own. And then we say, take what they do, we treat them like our own kids. So that's the culture you build. That's the culture you have, and you keep it going. But they got to hold each other accountable.
Shoot.
I mean, that's the key. And I went and saw when the game stands tall. My wife went with me. We're sitting in the theater, and she turns to me and says, when did you fly to California? And I said, honey, you know, if I got on an airplane, you know about it. And she said, well, they're doing the same thing you're doing. And we didn't know that at the time. It's all about holding everybody accountable. You know, I took a card and size of a license, and I had our number of our players on the front, and on the back, I put every player and every coach's name. And I told them to put that in their billfold. And if I asked them to show it to me, they needed to show it to me. And they said, what do we use these for? I said, when you're at that party or when you're getting ready to do something, remember every decision you make affects everybody on that card. And
Shoot.
I went and told the coaches the same thing. I said, men, when you go out there, every decision you make affects everybody on that card.
Mm,
So in my opinion, that's how you keep it going.
mm. Okay, go ahead, Jacob.
So, Coach, allow me to toot your horns just a little bit for me. The conversation is quite modest. So, in that, from Anderson to Greenville to Spartanburg to Travelers Rest, to all those areas, you are definitely a legend. I have a few friends that graduated from Spartanburg Methodist, some from Presbyterian, some went to Piedmont High School, some went to Malden High School, and they was
Yep.
like, "Oh my God, Jacob, you interviewing the Coach Frost?" I said, "Yeah." I said the Coach Frost. So your name, especially in the upstate of South Carolina, your name ring bells. And I said, "Man, that's pretty impressive." 20 years later, his name is still ringing bells. And so when you hear people talk about how great of a coach he was, you know, um, how does that make you feel as an individual and as a coach?
I'm very proud of that. But I will repeat, I had assistant coaches that were unbelievable. One of them being my brother, another one being Robert Williams, one probably the best offensive line coach in the Southeast. Uh, I've had coaches like Tommy Bobo. Unbelievable coaches. Willis Burkett, Derek White, who's now at Raven Gap, and just unbelievable coaches.
Hmm.
And to have that, and when they come and say something about me, I always make sure I honor the guys that got us there.
Right, I understand. I understand. So the dynamic of football, of high school football, has really changed since I was in high school. So when we was in high school, we we had the power backs, the power I, and the 32 dump, the 42 dive, the 47 sweep, 48 power, the
Yep.
49 sweep. You know what I mean? So
Yes,
those are
sir.
the plays we had. But now I see a lot of coaches are in the shotgun and with those power plays with those that three rotation power backs. I will say that whether you had a right pulling guard or a left pulling guard, they had to have speed, strength, and technique. because when you got a good pulling guard, man, that really opens up the hole that you can drive 18 wheeler to. And so,
Yes, sir.
nowadays, I see a lot of shotgun formation within the high school football system. So,
Yes, sir.
why do you think it's changed so much?
Well, it started back when Doc Davis was at Spartanburg, and Doc got into the shotgun and the spread, but he was doing it and running the same offense as he did in the I formation. So, it just spread people out. And when they started spreading people out, the game changed. Some teams will come in there and try to do smash mouth football. But when you got a team over there running a spread and they can throw the ball and they're putting scores on the board, it really got to a point to where, okay, if you just run the ball, then that takes a lot of time. And so if you get down 2 scores, 3 scores, that's tough. So
Right, right.
it's different. I think now one thing it did do, it got more kids interested in the game of football, in my opinion.
Right.
Because, now they're out there, they're spread. We've got people throwing the ball all around. And then you got other teams that are still running the football. T.L. Hannah still runs double wing, and they do a great job with it. So, there's a lot of pros and cons on both sides of it, in my opinion.
Hmm. And I would say it's been changed for a while, but now it's more open. But I remember going to see this wide receiver by the name of AJ Green when he was in high
Oh,
school.
yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
I thought AJ Green in high school, we said AJ Green was Jerry Rice and Randy Moss combined. Because if you throw it up to the moon, the Jupiter, he
Yep.
was gonna go get it. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir. Yep.
And
Yep.
so that offense had a double set tight end. They had one back in the backfield, and they had them two wideouts, man. And they was famous for throwing that slant, the curl.
Yep.
Cause you can throw him a curl, man, and if he get one step on you, what nobody gonna catch him. And so
They're gone.
I said,
Yep.
yeah, I said so when I seen them do it, and then I started seeing like North Myrtle Beach do it. Start start seeing teams like Burns High School do it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And those teams that changed over, you seen them teams in the championship battling. So
Yes, sir.
with that being said, I feel like that's when the quarterback coach really got noticed
Yep.
when they went to that spread. And so,
Yep.
with you being a head coach and an AD, what are what are the most amazing things from what you from what you have seen from a great quarterback coach?
Oh, that would be my brother. Uh, he's he's done an amazing job. He was a head coach at Greenville High. Uh, he had a Shrine Bowl quarterback in Jordan Sorrells. Uh, he he had the spread. They ran the spread. He knows the spread. He studied the spread, and it's just been amazing what he can do. I've never questioned our offensive side of the ball. I
Okay.
told him, I said, keep me up to date on what you're doing. I'm gonna worry about the defense.
Okay.
Y'all just run offense,
Okay.
and and that worked for us. So, it's one of those things I think that when you talk about the spread, you're talking about you got to also have time to work on the spread.
Hmm.
And when you're going to do that, you need to try to two platoon as best you can, because if you do that, number one, it's going to give them an hour to an hour and a half of working on their own, working on their timing, working on everything, their blocking scheme and everything. while the defense is doing the same thing, working on their scheme instead of having to flip back and forth. So the 2 platoon, if you can do it, is, in my opinion, the best thing you can do. And I got that from Coach Donnie Woosley, who beat me one night when I was at Riverside. And I asked him, I said, how'd you turn this program around? He said, Coach, we 2 platoon. He said, what we found out was if you take a second string person and move him into a number 1 spot, he gets number 1 reps, he's going to get better.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you call Coach Donnie Wood's name. He coached my brother at Saluda High School.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, I know Donnie
Yeah.
Wood very well. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great man. Great man. Love him to death.
He is. And Coach, I'm before I give it over to Coach Goins, I'm gonna ask you this. Now you a defensive man. So
Yes,
what
sir.
is your favorite defense formation, and why do you choose that formation on a consistent basis?
Well, we're 4-3, but we're multiple. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to shift from a 4-3 to a blitzing position, which we call Pringle, and which means we've got an end head up on the tackle with a linebacker right on his rear end, and he's tapping, telling that guy where to go. We don't even know which way he's telling him to go. My linebacker's doing the same thing on the nose, and then on the far end over there, the Sam linebacker does not have a gap if there's no tight end. So they're automatically going to their basic gap. We got 1 free guy spine now.
Okay.
So, that's what we are. Now, we'll then also get up in the 46, the bear. We'll shift to that. We'll shift over to a shade technique instead of stack, head up. And we move around a lot.
Okay.
And we come from pretty much every angle you can come from.
Okay.
But we got to work on tackling.
Right. I will say this again, Coach Goins, let me give it to you. To me, with growing up playing football, the most vicious position on the defense side of the ball is nose guard. If you got a dynamic and a great nose guard, ain't nothing like it.
See, what we try to do is we try to get them to take the center and 2 guards and block 2 guys.
Right.
If we can do that, now we're opening up a gap somewhere.
Yes, sir. Over to you,
And
Coach
that's
Goins.
helping us.
All right, so I'm going to hit this real quick and then kick it over to Icon. First of all, Coach Frost, I just want the story that you told about the roster and the wallet. I'm not amazed that you're a Hall of Fame coach. I'm not amazed that you won 55 games because in all my years of being around, sports and coaching high school myself, I've never seen that, never heard that, and that is that is definitely culture. And I can, people want to win and they want to be a part of winning tradition. So again, I commend you for that as well. So here's my last question. Give us in a one statement line, what advice would you have for that new coach coming out that's a greenhorn and say, man, I want to get out here and be on the road. I want to be the next Dan. Excuse me. Yeah, I want to be the next Dan Frost. What's the keys to his success?
Remembering that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Wow. Excellent.
You listen before you talk. Because this game, I'm still learning. Okay. And when you feel like you don't need to learn anymore, you need to go on into the tire and get out.
Wow. Excellent.
Because that's, and let me say this real quick. It takes a village. It takes a village. Those parents have to buy in. They have to be part of the program. They have to help in the program. We need dad on chains. We need moms fixing dinners and helping serve and ordering stuff and getting the clothes straight with kids. That takes all that off of us and lets us coach football.
How about that? Excellent. Coach, I appreciate it. Icon E.
So Let me ask you. Let's get into some of this NIL transfer stuff. So, we're in a whole different era, whole different time frame. So, in your experience of 44 years of coaching and mentoring and being a father figure in the whole nine, how do you navigate the players and their families? Because what we quickly learned, by especially doing a lot of these interviews with different coaches and stuff, is that and they don't tell these players that the media doesn't tell you this part. So you got your top 300 going into college. Back in the, before the NIL, those top 300 was guaranteed to be at a Power Five or a top school. Now you probably get past 150, and those other 150 might be left out in the cold. Or if they do happen to make it to a Power Five, they might not get on the field because all the players that's already there is flip flopping. Of course, we know college player coaches gonna go with what they already the known and not the unknown that's coming in, unless you just, unless you, like I said, one of those top 100 players, like a top 50 just dynamic player. So how do you help the players and the families navigate through that part?
Well, first off, you got to understand that if it's we're talking about the NIL stuff, that hadn't hit our state yet.
Mm.
Okay, it hadn't hit South Carolina yet, but well, sort of it has, but not to the extent of what y'all are going through at the other states. But the big thing is you try to get them to understand, if you want to be a part of our program, stay in the program.
Mm.
Don't jump ship thinking grass is greener on the other side, because it's not. I know kids that have transferred. I've had them do it to me. They've transferred to other schools because they didn't think their kid was getting enough publicity, and I understand that, but that don't work out every time, and you got to be careful.
It don't
As
work out.
far as
It don't
far as
work out
trans,
most of the time, coach.
you're right, and the big thing is, as far as transferring to other schools, if you want to take that one-time transfer in state South Carolina, that you can do that whenever. But at that point, you made a choice, and you have better thought it through all the way, because there's not another one. And so, you got to inform the parents of this, and you got to talk to the parents of this. And this is what, as being a head coach, you have to understand that the parents have the best, they want the best for their kid. Okay. But you want the best for their kid too.
Right.
It's
And
true.
and I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes that means moving on. If we're doing something with an athlete, but dad's working down the road in Anderson, and he's having to drive. Well, sometimes the parents need to move that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And that happens. So I don't want to make it sound like people are, moving just to move, but sometimes that happens too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
true.
yeah. You're right. So I got two more questions for you before we
Yes,
get
sir.
out of here. One is, what's the one time that you've been coaching for 44 years? What's that one team that you had that you thought was better than what they put on the field that made you kind of change up what you was doing a little bit?
Okay. When I was at Riverside, we brought the kids in, told them this is what we're going to do. What's your job? They couldn't tell me. I said, jobs love each other, that type of thing. And everything was, moving on. We went 5-5 that year, but we beat a team we wasn't supposed to beat. And that changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I had a kicker, David Jackson, kicked a 64-yard field goal. I think it's still the longest in the state. I'm not sure.
It
But
is.
in a game, and he kicked it. You can go to ESPN on YouTube, and they got it, and you can see it. All right, and then we had a 99-yard kickoff return in that game to beat the team we wasn't supposed to beat. And when you do that, that's when it all starts to come together. You know what I'm saying? We had lost 5 games and we didn't make the playoffs. But that team's what built the foundation that's turned it around at Riverside, and it just kept going into Christ Church.
Okay. And then one other question is, what team that you had that overachieved, that you went into the season? Because coaches know going to a season sometimes though, like, I don't know about this one, y'all, but what team overachieved?
That would be our 2012 team. That we were in a state championship game with a school named Johnsonville. They were absolutely huge. My defensive tackle was 5'6", 172 pounds.
Wow.
And he was going against a kid that was 318 pounds. And I told him, I said, stay under his kneecap. Don't get any higher than that. Because I said, he'll push you and just open it up. And sure enough, he stayed down there all night long. And we didn't move the ball at all. And they were up on us. And we started coming back. And my quarterback, Demetrius Anthony, who just went into the Hall of Fame at Christ Church, he kind of took it on his back. And he ran a couple of balls in. One time he hit a linebacker 3-yard line and took him all the way into the end zone. And that group of young men, we came back because we forced them in a safety situation, which put us 1 point behind, and then they kicked off to us, and Quan White ran it back for 65 yards for a touchdown, and the game was over. That's how we won that championship. Those were the overachievers, in my opinion.
Wow.
Okay. Well, if anybody don't have any more questions, I want to thank the coach for coming on tonight, giving us his time. A lot of great stories, a lot of great information on just, your legendary career. Just, let people know what it takes to be great, or whatever. So like I said before we started the interview, having people on like yourself is what one educates us more so, because I've learned more in 6 years that I ever knew before. And I've been watching football or whatever and playing it whatever since a toddler myself. But learning something from people that do it every day, to me, is always inspiring. Especially somebody like yourself who's had such a legendary career. So I appreciate you coming on tonight, giving us your time. If there's any information you want to give us, anything coming down that you want to give us, let us know. And anything, any way we can help out to help support, your school that you're at now.
Well, I appreciate y'all inviting me here. I think it's a big honor. And my thing is just kids need good coaches. That's
Yep.
one of the sayings in the state of South Carolina. Kids need good coaching. Keith Richardson came up with that when he was head of the Coaches Association. And, if you're coaching because you love the game and you love kids, then that's the right way. But you got to maintain that. You can't let winning championships and success ruin what you're supposed to be doing for those kids.
And it's and if you don't have any issue with it, have your head coach, have any other coaches, the players, whoever, have them come on. If the basketball coach at the school, whoever, I don't, whatever coach, whatever programs y'all have, sports wise, athletic directors, whoever, invite and tell them that we got an open door policy, and we love to have any and all of them come on and get their story.
Absolutely.
I'll be more
Yes,
than
sir.
happy to. Gentlemen, this
All
has
right.
been an honor, and I can't express my gratitude for what y'all do, because this is the type thing hopefully people watch and people learn. And, you know, we don't know everything. There's no way. But, you know, we learn from watching and listening to y'all, just like y'all learn from us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you coming on. You have a blessed and wonderful weekend and continued success for the rest of the season for you guys, and to continue for y'all growth, and to get to to get to that next level.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank y'all again. It's
Yes,
an
sir.
honor. Call me anytime I can help y'all.
All right.
Yes,
Take
sir.
care, Coach. All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right. All right.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Blessings.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.